What is going on, guys? Ultimate Deadpool here, back with another video. Today we're going to be looking at some different items today. We're only going to do one at a time, so we're going to do one today, one tomorrow, and then one Saturday. So hopefully that gives you guys a little bit of fun and entertainment the next few days. I can't wait to get started with this. So today we're going to be starting off with probably the most obvious one here, and then we'll of course move on throughout the next few days. I will of course be shooting all these videos at the same time or at the same day. So if I sound tired in a different video, it's because I've been shooting nonstop for the next however many hours it takes me to get this stuff done. So anyway, we've got Nathan Drake, Zombie Deadpool, and a secret on that side. So let's go ahead and get started with today's video on the secret. Okay, so this is actually a third-party release. This is called the Variant Spider by thundertoys, and it is literally Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man from Spider-Man 1. My personal favorite Spider-Man, not my personal favorite Spider-Man movie, however. So he comes encased in a foam block. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to take him out of the box and all of his accessories, lay him out on the table, and continue from there. All right, so here are all the bits and pieces that come with Spider-Man, or thundertoys, the Variant Spider. So ignore the stuff on this side. My desk is crazy right now. And I have to shoot this at a wide lens because the figures are so much taller. Trust me, there's a formula to this, I swear. So this is literally all he comes with. Nothing extreme, nothing fancy. He comes with two different web effects, which are terrible, and a almost full array of hands. He doesn't come with two closed fists. Instead, he comes with a gripping hand for a web that he can't actually hold. Because this is supposed to plug in behind the wrist peg and make it look like he's actively whipping a web, but he comes with a web with a hand meant to hold like he's swinging on a web. Very odd choice. All of these are recast from the Hot Toys Spider-Man 3 Spider-Man from way back in the day. All these pieces really are, except for the base. But, and even then, that's recast from something else. But you basically plug this web effect in. Well, you would if the peg didn't. Oh, wait, no, that was a fake peg. You plug that web effect in, you plug it in, and it's supposed to be like he's actively shooting it out. But since this is relatively heavy, it's supposed to sit like this, and it, of course, droops down. And then you have just a small one. If I'm ever going to use a web effect, I'm probably going to end up using this one. You'll see later on when we do the poses at the end of the video. But anyway, and then he's got a very simple, basic display base. Nothing too crazy. It just says thundertoys. I wish it didn't say anything, because then I could just put something over it. I probably will still do that anyway, because I will more than likely not use this base. Or if I do use this base, I'm going to do a recover for it and go from there. So let's go ahead and get Spider-Man out and go from there. Okay, so standing straight up and down, no crazy poses or really anything, because he doesn't really come with anything to do. He's honestly not bad. I know that there's a lot of people out there who don't like this, figure, and that's fine. It does have its fair share of issues, but for me, for what I'm wanting to use it for, it's fine. I'm literally going to put him in a web swinging pose or a dynamic pose because his fabric, I swear I can talk today, his outfit is completely made of fabric. There's nothing rubbery except for the web lines and the spider logos. That's pretty much it. So in terms of posing, you can do poses with this guy, leave him like that, and he shouldn't have any issues. The blue is stretchy spandex, the red is stretchy spandex, spandex galore except for the web lines. We'll get to those. So, proportions. He looks buff. His thighs are ridiculously oversized. And I mean, other than his, it doesn't. It looks like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man enough for me to be like, oh, it's fine. But this was actually a happy accident. When I was at the store that I got these things at, I didn't see this one there the last time I was there, or the previous 3 times I was there, and I didn't see it. So this was kind of like a happy mistake or happy accident, because Tobey Maguire, you all know this, is my favorite Spider-Man of all time. Always has, always will be. But he is not. This figure, of course, is not without his flaws because this is a third-party release. This is not an official made Hot Toys or Sideshow or whatever release. This is done by a company called Thundertoys, which is why his name is Variant Spider, not Spider-Man. They have done some really interesting things. We'll discuss this when we take him off this rotating turntable. But for now, all you need to really know is that if you want a cheap, inexpensive, but still pretty decent Spider-Man to represent Tobey Maguire in your 1/6 scale collection or any collection for that matter, or you just want to have a really interesting version of Spider-Man to do crazy poses with for figure photography or whatever, this guy is the guy to do it with because his, like I said earlier, his suit is 100% fabric. There is absolutely no rubber material except for the web lines, but even then, it feels durable. It feels like it's going to stand the test of time rather than, flake and degrade. And this is already a pretty old figure, and mine is in really good shape. And this is having it being brand or used in the box, and you guys already saw the box. The box was beat to shit. So, honestly, I think this is going to stand the test of time. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. But for now, let's take him off this turntable and look at him a little bit better, and that way we can dive deeper and see what's going on. Okay, so kicking things off with the mask. Now, I know that the official Hot Toys ones, both versions, people were complaining about the mask, especially the one that came with No Way Home. I know that for a fact because I've seen videos on it, and everybody says the same thing. They say that the lenses look like crap. Let's take a look at the lenses here. In my opinion, that looks like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. The lenses are just right. They may be a little bit off, but not so much that it's throwing me off. The web line or the seam is cleverly hidden by a web line. The spider logo is black. In later movies, it was changed to gunmetal to match the rest of the spider webs. This, and for those of you who are wondering, this is Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man from Spider-Man 1, unless I haven't said that already, which is why the back spider logo looks this way, and why the blue sections are a lot brighter versus the darker section color scheme that they would use later in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy. So, and then if I'm not mistaken, even the black parts on the bottom of the feet are accurate to the first movie suit, because I know in the second movie they later did change it. But visually, it's basically the same suit, which is why, again, I have no problem using this as my Tobey Maguire Spider-Man for now. And then I'll eventually maybe get the Hot Toys one at a later date. But everything on here is pure, it's pure spandex. So, you can, have him in a pose like that forever and not have to worry about effing up the suit. The web lines. They are raised. You can feel them. They're very rubbery, but they feel bulletproof. If that makes it, like, they may eventually peel off, but like I said, this is not a brand new figure. This, you guys saw the box in the intro. The box was completely beat up and destroyed, and this thing is obviously fine. Now, I am not gonna lie to you guys. I did take a look at some of this stuff before I unboxed it and stuff on camera. So it's one of those things like I already kind of knew what to look at. So I have actually already repaired some of the stuff on this Spider-Man. I'll get into that here in a little bit. But, again, for what it is and what it's going to do for people who like Spider-Man, love Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man specifically, and want to pose the crap out of him without completely destroying the costume, I say go for this guy, man. You could do a hell of a lot worse than this. And, this guy was relatively inexpensive for me. So I mean, granted, I got him at an actual store, not a, third, online thing like eBay. So I mean, if you were to go look at this guy on eBay, I'm pretty sure he's still pretty reasonably priced. And that's just because it's a third party figure. It's not an official Hot Toys release. It feels like that because he's got some weight to him. He's actually pretty hefty, but he's not like, super heavy like, if it was made of die cast or whatever. Like Hellboy, for instance, was heavy. This guy is the complete opposite of that. He's actually pretty lightweight, all things considered. So they've actually done something relatively weird with this version, with this Spider-Man figure. Let's see if I can get the camera to focus properly. But for some reason, they gave him an LED light up effect. Now, I'm not going to try this because A, I don't have button cell batteries, and B, this is Tobey Maguire. He doesn't have LED eyes. That would be Tom Holland. So I don't know what Thunder Toys was thinking with this. The lenses are, you're supposed to be able to see like these red dots or whatever through the lenses or whatever. You can kind of see through them through the mask, but I don't know why they did this. And this is where I want to start going ahead and talking about some of the repairs I've already done to this Spider-Man. For one, the neck. This little neck connector piece, the suit was frailing along the edges. I literally took some super glue, ran it around the ring, and pinched everything together to hold the suit in place so I can move the neck around. And it's not going to, expose that neck with the mask on. Because the mask covers everything, thank God. And when I push everything down, it all looks like it's one piece. So if I hadn't done that, the neck, all of this would ride down, and you would see that unpainted plastic neck. But everything sits low enough that I don't have to worry about it. This arm. What is supposed to be on this side is it's supposed to be cinched around the wrist peg. So that way you can take the hands on and off, switch out the palms or hands or whatever, and do different gestures, but it still, covers up everything and you don't have to worry about seeing the wrist peg. Great. This side had to have been changed either multiple times by the person who had this before me, or they pulled the sleeves down to completely change the hand, and it actually shredded that cinching on the opposite hand. Now, I did the same thing. I pulled everything as tightly as I could, super glued everything around it, let it set for a minute without the hand on, and then just simply pop the hand back on, call it a day. And you still get the same level of articulation as you would off of the other side, just a little bit limited because you are fighting a little bit of super glue because you just fixed that side. His boots. These are two separate pieces, hence why they're very baggy in certain things. I have fixed them to where they don't bunch up at his ankles, because before then they were sitting like they were like completely hanging down like this, and they all looked like that. So what I did was I scooted everything up, folded it in on itself, rung a ring of super glue around, and then just unfolded this, pushed everything up as fast as I could, and now it's nice and smooth, it's nice and clean, it looks like it's supposed to on both sides. So this is not, I guess, 100% stock. I have done a small amount of repair work to this guy, but trust me, if I hadn't, he would have looked way, way worse for this video rather than what he looks like now. Because now he actually looks like he's, a pretty decent figure. But beforehand, you could see all this ugly plastic and everything else, and the boots were sagging really badly, and they're still sagging a little, but that's because I had him in a pose with one of my buddies earlier today, and just to see what kind of poses this thing could pull off and try to find that really sweet one that I was going to stick with forever. So, and I ended up finding it. You'll see it at the end of this video. But, if he's standing straight up and down, okay, fine. These are going to bunch up just because they're stretchy spandex. But if you've got him in if you've got him in like a pose where he's swinging on a web or whatever, it's not going to be a huge deal. It's just once you have him standing up, you can bring him back up like that. Make sure everything is nice and tight, and you shouldn't have any issues. So all in all, this Spider-Man is not perfect, but for me, for right now, he's fine. He will do as my stand-in for Tobey Maguire Spider-Man until I either get the Hot Toys one, or he can just be my permanent Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, because I would never have Spider-Man in, or without his mask. Because I like Tobey Maguire, don't get me wrong, but if I'm going to have Spider-Man be Spider-Man, I'm going to have him be Spider-Man, not Peter Parker. So, yeah, I mean, it's not, like I said, he's not perfect. He's not perfect by any stretch of the word. But honestly, if you're looking for something that's relatively inexpensive, relatively easy to find, and wants to represent Tobey Maguire in your display from the Spider-Man trilogy, this guy, he could be a lot worse. You could do a hell of a lot worse than this guy. So if you're looking for some, and the nice thing about this is since he's got two pieces for his neck, you could very realistically not ignore what I did, take the whole neck off and switch it out for a Tobey Maguire head, or even just simply taking this little stupid LED thing out, fashion yourself a head for this, or even just a 3D printed thing for this to fit over that, and then boom, you have a Tobey Maguire head, and you still have a pretty solid Spider-Man figure at the same time. So I mean, you definitely, this thing definitely gives you options, and that's the thing I like about it. And, granted, yeah, it's not the best Spider-Man in the world, or this figure isn't the best Tobey Maguire Spider-Man out there, but it's far from the worst. You could definitely do a lot, like I said, you could do a lot worse than this. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do some comparisons, and then we'll get on to the posing section at the end of everything. So I haven't thought that whole section through yet, so that's going to be very interesting to shoot. But let's go ahead and start doing comparisons. I don't know why I always forget how big freaking Hellboy is, because I just underestimate how big he is. But you can clearly see he is the taller of the two between Spider-Man and Hellboy. If I'm not mistaken, I want to say they did actually cross over a couple of times in the comic books. I could be misremembering. I haven't read every single Spider-Man comic book there is. But if I had to remember correctly, I want to say they have actually crossed over between comic books at least once. Like I said, I could be misremembering that. I'm not a Spider-Man comic book aficionado. So, but this is roughly how they would look like standing together if you wanted to do something like this for your display or your collection or whatever you want to do for it. If it helps you, here it is. And for all you Tom Holland fans out there, since technically Tom Holland is Spider-Man, this is not the Spider-Man that we're representing right now, though. Or he's not the Spider-Man we're currently representing. But Spider-Man, I can see being Tobey's Spider-Man, I can still see being a Star Wars fan. So here he is standing next to Gary the Stormtrooper, or at least my stand-in for Gary the Stormtrooper, since, Hot Toys is never going to actually make a Gary the Stormtrooper. This is close enough to that. So let me know what you guys think. They are roughly about the same height. The Stormtrooper might be just ever so slightly taller at the shoulders, but from dome to dome, they are about the same size. Same scenario, I always forget how tall Boba Fett actually is. Now, unfortunately, Tamir Morrison is not the tallest guy in the world, but this looks about right. So again, if you wanted to have Spider-Man standing alongside Boba Fett, this is what it would look like. And just for shits and giggles, since Yuri Lowenthal did voice Spider-Man in the PS4 and PS5 video games, and Ben Tennyson was also voiced by Yuri Lowenthal in Ben 10 Ultimate Alien and Alien Force. There you go. This is what my custom Ben 10 looks like standing next to Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Now, I am not going to get Venom out here right now because he is not the right Venom for this Spider-Man. But, you know what, screw it. We'll just do it. Okay, this is just sad. Like, really sad. Venom is supposed to be this giant, hulking, freaking buff, alien, brain-eating thing. But this just makes him look like a toddler. Like, this is seriously so sad and stupid that I'm having a hard time not just bursting out laughing. It's going to get a lot worse here in just a second. But, like, I would never put these two together because I want Venom to feel big and imposing and like he could kick Spider-Man's ass. This seriously looks like the scene in Spaceballs when Lone Star is holding Dark Helmet by the head as he's trying to repeatedly swing at him, trying to kill him because he's too short. This seriously is like the least threatening version of Spider-Man versus Venom I think I have ever seen. And it just gets worse because this was my stand-in for Spider-Man. The $10 freaking Walmart Spider-Man that I repainted. This is awful. I hate this version that I did. I absolutely loathe it with a passion. It is probably my least favorite custom I have ever done. Literally ever. I hate this version of Spider-Man so much. This dude is 100% replacing this thing. Because this is so much better. He can actually bend his arms. He can actually pose. He can do shit. Versus this guy, he literally just stands there and looks retarded. So, yeah. He's going to be replacing this guy. So, like I said throughout the course of this video, I don't think this guy is actually that bad. I know there's a lot of people who do not like this thundertoys Spider variant, aka Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 1/6 scale figure, but I personally do think if you're looking for a cheap and pretty easy accessible version of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, I honestly don't think you can do much worse than this. Yeah, this guy's not perfect. He's got his flaws. He's got his little hiccups and crannies and stuff here and there, and yeah, he is an older 1/6 scale third-party figure, but honestly, in my personal opinion, granted, yeah, I had to fix the suit just a little bit, he does still hold up. His waist joint, I did notice throughout the course of the video when I was doing these poses, is not 100% working properly. But if you can move past that, I think this guy will work for you really well, even if he just stands straight up and down, or if you put him in a badass action pose, you know, similar to, like, you know, this next one coming up. I don't think you're going to be irritated on how he looks in your display. So if you're looking for something that's inexpensive, but also Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, I think this will fit the bill just right. So let me know what you guys think of this guy in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed these videos, and I will catch you guys all next time. Bye. Till next time, Ultimate Deadpool. Peace out. You guys are awesome. I'll catch you guys all later. Bye.